A. What are you like?
Describe your character. Choose the number that describes you. For example, in the first line, 1 means very positive. 3 means not very positive or negative. 5 means very negative. I think I'm very positive. I'm quite a negative person. I'm usually reliable. I'm quite unreliable. I'm quite confident. I'm quite shy. I'm hard-working. I'm quite lazy. I have a good sense of humour. I'm usually quite serious. I'm usually quite patient. I'm quite impatient.
B. Opposites.
Positive, generous. Negative, mean. Honest, dishonest. Clever, intelligent. Stupid. Calm, nervous, anxious.
C. Describing a friend.
The first thing I would say about my best friend is that she's very sensible. I've never known Amelia to do anything silly, and I know I can always trust her. She's also very creative. She makes things, and she's a very talented artist. I wish I had her talent.
A. How do you feel?
I'm very proud of my son's success, but I'm a bit disappointed that the local paper hasn't shown more interest in the story.
The politicians seem confused about what to do, so I'm not hopeful that things will improve.
We were curious to see what all the noise was about, but I felt anxious when I saw how angry the men were, and really scared when they started coming towards us.
I think Harry ended the relationship because his girlfriend was getting jealous, but now he's quite upset.
B. The effect of the weather on our feelings.
Why do people say they feel more cheerful when the sun shines and miserable when it's raining? Why do some people suffer from SAD, seasonal affective disorder, which makes them feel depressed during long, dark winters? Can the weather really affect our mood, or is it just in our imaginations?
C. The effect of colour on our emotions.
Colour can have an effect on our mood, but how do specific colours relate to our emotions? Red can make us feel energetic, but it can also indicate anger. Pink, though, is softer and more about maternal love and caring for people. Green is associated with nature and is good for people suffering from stress. Blue is relaxing and helps us to be creative, but too much dark blue can make us depressed.
A. Relatives. Members of your family. Synonym, relations.
My father died when I was 9, and so my mother was a widow with 4 young children. She remarried 5 years later, so now I have a stepfather. As he is not my real father, I call him by his first name, which is Dieter. I've got an elder brother called Thomas and 2 younger sisters, Anya and Claudia, who are twins. We are a close family. My mother is an only child, but I've got 2 uncles on my father's side. One is married with 2 children and the other is married with 3 children. So altogether, I have 5 cousins. I get on well with Uncle Rolf, and he always tells me I'm his favorite nephew. Of his nieces, I think he likes Anya best. Recently, my brother Thomas got married. His wife's name is Sabine, so I now have a sister-in-law as well.
B. Friends.
My best friend is Florian, an old school friend. We got to know each other when we were in the same class at school. We've been mates ever since, and our friendship is very important to both of us. He spends a lot of time with my family, and his current girlfriend is actually one of Thomas's ex-girlfriends, but we all get on really well.
A. Ages and stages in the UK.
Age, 0. Stage, birth. Up to 12 months, a baby. 12 months to 3 years old, a toddler. 3 to 12 years old, a child. This period is your childhood. 13 to 18 approximately, a teenager. During this period, you are in your teens. 18 plus, an adult. 40 plus approximately, people are middle-aged. 60 or 65, retirement. 80 plus, old age. We usually describe people as elderly.
B. Approximate ages.
I'm in my early 20s. My parents are in their mid-50s. My grandmother is in her late 70s. My grandfather is nearly or almost 80. My English teacher's approximately or roughly 30.
C. Past and present.
My grandmother's name was Mary. She's dead now. She died about 10 years ago when I was in my teens, but I remember her well. She was brought up on a farm in Wales, and her parents were very strict. As a teenager, they didn't allow her to listen to the radio or go to parties in the village. In the end, she decided to leave home and get a job in Cardiff. At first, it wasn't easy, but she managed to find work, and she also met the man who became her husband, my grandfather. My mother was born 4 years later. She had a very different childhood. She grew up in the city. She was allowed to go to parties, and when she was in her teens, her parents let her stay out late. My mum is the same with me.
A. Romance.
I had my first date when I was 16, and it was terrible. I took a girl to the cinema, but she didn't like the film and looked bored all evening. It was a bad start. Then, when I was 17, I went out with a girl for 3 months, but we broke up when she met a boy who was 2 years older than me and had a car. My first serious relationship was when I went to university. I got to know Melanie because we were on the same course. At first, we were just friends. Then we started going out with each other. And after a few months, we realized we were in love. We got engaged a couple of years after we left university. And then...
B.
Marriage. The time when you are married.
We got married the following year. We didn't want a big ceremony, so we had the wedding in the local church near Melanie's home, with just family and a few friends. Afterwards, we had the reception in a small hotel nearby, and then went on our honeymoon to Greece.
C. Children.
Just over 3 years later, Melanie got pregnant, and our first child, Cal, was born just 2 days after our 4th wedding anniversary. We had a big celebration.
D. Divorce. When a marriage officially ends.
Things started to go wrong when I got a job as manager of a sportswear company. I was working 6 days a week, and I had to do a lot of travelling. It was difficult for Melanie as well. She was working during the week, then at weekends she was often alone or on her own with 2 young children. I felt I couldn't give up my job, and in the end, Melanie decided to leave me. The following year, we got divorced.
A. Sleep.
During the week, I usually wake up about 7:30 a.m. If I don't, my mum wakes me up. I get up a few minutes later. In the evenings, I go to bed about 10:30 p.m. and usually go to sleep straight away. If I have a late night, I try to have a sleep in the afternoon when I get home from college.
B. Food.
I have coffee and cereal for breakfast, then have a light lunch, maybe a sandwich and an apple, and a snack in the afternoon. We have our main meal in the evening. If Mum's late home from work, she doesn't bother to cook. We just get a takeaway instead. One of us has to feed the cat as well.
C. Bathroom routines.
I usually have a shower when I get home from college because my sister, Rosie, and my brother, Marcus, spend so much time in the bathroom in the morning. I only have time to have a wash and clean my teeth before Rosie comes in to put on a bit of makeup. In the winter, I sometimes have a bath instead of a shower. I like to lie in the bath and listen to music.
D. Housework. The work of keeping a home clean and tidy.
Fortunately, we've got a cleaner who does a lot of the housework, and that includes doing my washing. But I still have to make my bed and do some of my ironing, and I sometimes do the shopping with Mum.
E. Spare time. Time when you are not working.
On weekdays, I usually stay in and watch TV in the evening. At the weekend, I go out quite a lot with my friends, either to the cinema or just to a cafe, and I eat out once a week. Sometimes friends come round and we chat about clothes, music and college.
A. Location. The place and position of something.
We live on the outskirts of town, and it's a very nice location. We used to live in the centre, but we moved to our present flat when we had children because there's more space for them to play, and it has nice views.
B. Our flat. This is where we live. We rent a flat on the 2nd floor. There's a family in the flat downstairs and a young French couple upstairs on the top floor. It's a modern block of flats and it's quite good, although the lift is small and there's no air conditioning.
Top floor. 2nd floor. Balcony. Ground floor. Steps. Front door. First floor.
C. A house in the country.
My parents own a cottage. It's a charming house and has lots of character, but like many old buildings, it's quite dark, quite difficult to heat, and it doesn't have central heating.
A. Different homes. When we first got married, we lived in a one-bedroom flat with a small kitchen, a living room and a bathroom. When our first child was born, she had to share our bedroom. Now we live in a 4-bedroom house. Our bedroom has an ensuite bathroom. Our 2 teenage children have their own rooms. We have a spare room for guests and another bathroom. Downstairs, there's a living room, a dining room and a study. We've also got a lovely big kitchen with a fridge freezer, a cooker with 2 ovens and a dishwasher. Next to it, there's a small utility room where we keep the washing machine.
Microwave. Tap. Kettle. Tiles. Freezer. Cupboards. Sink. Oven. Cooker. Fridge.
B. Choices. When you decide between 2 or more possibilities.
What do you prefer? Some people like big, soft sofas with lots of cushions. Some people like firm armchairs. Do you like a wooden floor with a rug or a carpet? Curtains or blinds? A duvet or a sheet and a blanket? 1 pillow or 2?
A. Notes and coins.
In the UK, the currency is sterling. In America, it is the dollar. In much of Europe, it's the euro. Notes. For example, £10, 20 euros, a £10 note, a €20 note. Coins in the UK. For example, 50 pence, usually spoken as 50p, a pound, a 50 pence piece, but a £1 coin.
B. Managing your money.
I've had a bank account for a few years now, and I make sure my account is always in credit. I go to the cash point once a week, so I always have some cash with me, and I check my account online once a week to see how much money I've got.
C. Money problems.
When I went to university, I had to get a student loan to pay my fees. That meant I had to be careful and make sure I didn't waste money. But by the time I finished my degree, I owed a lot. One good thing is that I don't have to pay it back until I get a job and I'm earning a reasonable amount of money. At the moment, I'm saving up for a new laptop. The one I have is very slow and keeps going wrong. I'd love to have a car as well, but I can't afford it.
D. Accommodation. Places where you live or stay.
This year, I'm renting a flat with 3 friends of mine. We had to pay 1 month's rent as a deposit, but it's a nice place, quite good value for money, and the landlord isn't charging us to use his garage.
A. Common problems. I've got a sore throat and a temperature.
That sounds like flu. You should see a doctor.
I've cut my arm. It's bleeding.
Put a bandage round it.
I've got a terrible cough.
Go to the chemist and get some cough medicine.
I've got a headache.
Take some tablets or pills for the pain.
I feel sick.
Go to the bathroom, quickly.
B. Describing pain.
We can use different words to describe pain. An ache describes pain that is not always strong, but often continues. It is used with certain parts of the body. I've got a headache. Aria's got stomach ache. My dad suffers from backache. For other parts of the body, we often use pain. I've got a pain in my shoulder. I've got a pain in my foot. Ache can also be a verb to describe pain that continues for some time. By the end of the day, my feet were aching. For stronger or more sudden pain, we usually use the verb hurt. My throat hurts when I speak. I hit my leg on the table and it really hurts. I hit my leg on the table and it's very painful.
C. Serious illnesses.
For serious illnesses, you will probably go into hospital. A person who stays in hospital is called a patient. Many patients need an operation. Lung cancer can be caused by smoking. Heart attacks can happen very suddenly. Hepatitis is a disease affecting the liver.